Hi, I'm Virginia, and I'm the founder of Tacit Productions. Usually, when we think about video games, we think about the type of entertainment that removes us from our everyday lives. Sometimes, it gives us the ability to do things we can never do and be people we can never be. But what if you could play a video game that turned your virtual actions into reality? What if you could play a video game like Farmville, where you planted a tree, you watered that tree, you pruned that tree, and because you were doing all of that in the game, you knew that somewhere in the world there was a tree growing because of you. Our patent-pending business model focuses on making this possible by using game-generated advertising revenue to fund your virtual actions into reality. We do this by creating compelling games that simulate world problems and world issues, and using the advertising revenue generated from playing that game to fund charities and organizations that have the direct resources to relieve the problems that you are solving in the game. And we do this process over and over again to fuel world development. We know that people want to feel empowered. People want to be heroes. People want to have the ability to make a difference. But things have changed. It's becoming harder and harder to make an impact on your own. If this was the 1920s and we were all factory workers, and we decided that we didn't think we were getting paid fairly, we could come together, walk outside, and demand higher wages. And because that factory could not run or produce profit without us, they would be forced to negotiate. Now, if someone doesn't want to negotiate, if a company doesn't want to negotiate, they can move their factory across the ocean. So our problems are getting bigger, and our world is getting bigger. And in order to make a difference as an individual, in order to create momentum, it becomes much harder. But we know that when we bring the entire gaming community together from all over the world, and we create value by driving them into a game to work and participate on a common goal, we can create enough value in advertising revenue to produce results so that we can do things that we could never normally do on our own and do things that need to be done, all by playing a fun game on our phone. Free-to-play online games have two revenue streams. The first is sales revenue. Sales revenue is on this side, and advertising revenue is on that side. And we use sales revenue as shareholder revenue and advertising revenue as revenue to fuel world development. So games like Candy Crush, with over 6 million players a day, easily generate 6.5+ million a year in advertising revenue and over 350 million a year in in-game purchases. Smaller games, like Clash of Clans, are monetizing better strictly because Clash of Clans has a better storyline. It has a storyline, whereas Candy Crush is a puzzle game. So Clash of Clans has actually figured out how to monetize their audience better as a mobile game in that way. But Clash of Clans, even with a smaller game, a smaller amount of users per day, is generating 5 million a year in ad revenue, and even more than Candy Crush, 450 million a year in game revenue.
1 minute.
All right. Deer Hunter is a combination, but attracts a smaller demo than either of those, and is still generating over $1 million a year in ad revenue and over 30 in game revenue. Together, with our proven successful development team, we are building a game right now that simulates ongoing global issues such as natural disasters, industrial disasters, energy, and epidemics. And we're taking the idea of simulating real-world problems to the next level by producing disaster game missions before disasters happen. So we're making missions about disasters that are going to happen in the future, so that when they do happen, we can release that mission and people can help relieve that disaster as it happens. By doing this, we're building an army of heroes out of the gaming community and using the 3 billion hours of weekly global gameplay as a force for world development. By turning games into reality and gamers into heroes, we're bridging the virtual and the physical world like never before. It's not just a game anymore.